If you've been on social media recently or listened to a number of podcasts, you have probably seen a lot of talk about peptides, right? Everyone from Khloe Kardashian to Joe Rogan, they're talking about what are essentially being viewed as wonder products, right? Which can allegedly help with everything from building muscle to getting a tan. Even RFK Jr. has been touting them, saying in an interview with Rogan, quote, "I'm a big fan of peptides. I've used them myself and used them with really good effect on a couple of injuries." Let's talk about this, okay? First of all, what are they, really? Well, you're probably already familiar with at least one class of peptides. That's GLP-1s like Ozempic and Wegovy, which are used for weight loss. But if you want to get a little technical, peptides are small amino acid chains, which are basically the building blocks for proteins. They can act as messengers to tell our bodies to do certain things like grow muscle. And that is why some peptides like TB500, not a Terminator, real thing, which is supposed to help with muscle recovery, have become popular with bodybuilding influencers. But peptides can be very expensive if you get them from a clinic, which is why many are turning to the gray market to get their supply. Labs in China and South Korea, they've been churning out the products, which are often sold online, but experts caution that these peptides are rarely made in sterile conditions, so the risk of contamination is quite high. And even if you get your peptides from a clinic, experts warn that many peptides haven't gone through the same testing as products like Ozempic, which went through years of review before they were approved by the FDA, which means the long-term risks of many peptides are still unknown. Which is why last week it was a big deal. The FDA convened a meeting of experts to determine if 7 popular peptides could be considered for FDA approval. Those experts approved 6 of the 7 peptides in question, and though it doesn't mean you can just run out to the pharmacy in hopes of, I don't know, looking like Captain America just yet. It is an important first step for full FDA approval. So will peptides one day be as common as taking a multivitamin in the morning? Here for a closer look, we got him, Dr. Anthony Yoon, a board-certified holistic plastic surgeon, huge social media following, like 8.5 million followers. Thank you so much for coming on. So do they work? Are they as effective as some influencers seem to think?
So in general, yeah. I mean, peptides, as you mentioned, they're short chains of proteins. They're very effective. Peptides are all throughout our body. Insulin is a peptide. GLP-1s, which we know are super effective, they're peptides. The issue with the peptides that we're talking about here, though, is that there are studies on these peptides, and most of them do have actual scientific studies, but the studies for the most part are done in animals. They're done in rats, in mice. And people, we are not basically overgrown rats and mice. And so the safety is the big question with these peptides. Not so much efficacy. I mean, these peptides do work for a lot of different conditions, but how safe are they to actually use them?
What's the risk? What's the biggest risk factors from taking peptides that you see?
Yeah, so for example, one that you mentioned earlier, TB500, another one very popular, BPC 157, these are basically used to help people to grow muscle, to recover quicker from injuries, and they induce what we call angiogenesis. It's a creation of new blood vessels. Well, that can't be a problem, can it? Well, what if you have, let's say, a cancer in your body, and now your body is creating new blood vessels? Could it possibly cause a cancer to get larger because now you're feeding it more blood supply? So with any of these types of peptides, you have to look at not just so much the short-term gain, but is there a long-term potential problem with them? And that's why we need more studies.
And just to be clear, is that something theoretical, or you're actually seeing with the peptides that it's increasing tumor growth? I've also heard about gastrointestinal, I can never say that word. This is why you're the doctor.
Gastrointestinal.
Thank you very much. Is these real things that are being studied and seen?
So these are things that are, to an extent, theoretical. Now, one of the ones that you mentioned before, melanotan, which is called the Barbie peptide that people are taking to try to get a golden tan, has been shown in some cases to actually increase the size of atypical or concerning moles. You know, there's a concern with melanoma with it. So right now, the problem with peptides is that they aren't studied enough, especially in humans, for us to know that long-term use could be safe.
So I mentioned the FDA. Very interesting what's happening, right? Because you see this little conflict between the FDA experts and this panel from this advisory committee, which I believe has connections to the peptide industry. What can we expect from that? Because it's also for a limited type of peptide use for like specific combination of medications and pharmacies, right? Like what can we expect from what's happening with the FDA?
Well, if it actually gets full approval, which it takes a long time for medications to get approval. Now, we're obviously in a completely different time frame and situation than we've ever been before. I think with our Secretary of Health and Human Services kind of pushing things that maybe traditionally wouldn't be pushed. But if these do get approval, the good part of it is that hopefully it will lead to more standardization and more safety with these peptides. The bad thing, though, is are they going to approve something that hasn't been proven safe, once again, in the long term? You know, if you're going to do peptides, the key is you don't want to get it, as you mentioned, off the black or gray market. You do want to try to work with an actual physician if you're going to be considering any of these types of peptides.
And that's one of the reasons the arguments get it approved, because otherwise people are going to go to the gray market, and that's going to push them there, and it's a danger. Do you envision a world, I don't know, 5, 10 years down the road, maybe sooner, where peptides are as easily accessible and commonly used as aspirin, Tylenol?
I mean, I think it's possible. One very interesting thing is the most popular peptides right now, the GLP-1 medications, Ozempic and Wegovy and Mounjaro. These are actually being used by some people off-label in a microdosing way as a way to reduce inflammation. You know, I hear from so many of my patients, they're telling me that they have reduced inflammation, reduced brain fog. They feel so much better on microdosing of these. This may be something with reducing chronic inflammation long-term that we may see peptides being used in very small amounts in the future in a lot of people.
Doctor, we have about 30 seconds. What do you make of stacking peptides?
So that's something you have to be really careful with, because when you think about it, taking one peptide that is not proven, you don't know about the long-term potential risks, now you're adding another peptide and another one on top of that, you could be stacking the potential risks as well. Number one thing is you want to make sure you work with an actual physician if you're going to consider peptides, and get them from an actual compound pharmacy. Do not inject anything that you buy online and that comes straight to your door.
Doctor, I can see why you have such a following. I thought this was great.
Thanks,
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Appreciate it, my friend.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.